Why do we experiment? So we have a vision, we have a dream. I have a dream, and that dream is up there in the sky. So that dream implies a lot of uncertainties, and the idea is that we're going to be experimenting to reduce the uncertainties. Okay, we're going to be running little experiments to decompose that. Um, that initiative or that project into small steps that we can seek validation or invalidation to make sure that every step that we make is a strong step. Today, it's probably only you. In the future, you'll have a lot of people behind you, and you want to take them through safe spaces, through safe steps. And that means having certainty as much as possible on each one of the steps that you're taking. So it is all about reducing uncertainty. We are living in complex times in which no longer can we anticipate what's going to happen or how things are going to unfold. So necessarily, we need to run some experiments to seek that validation. On the one hand, we have a vision, and we love our visions, but those visions, as I was saying, they imply a lot of risk. And we need to show certainty to those investors and the teammates. We need to show credibility, and that comes by reducing uncertainty. And if we do show ourselves as credible in our processes and in the steps that we make, we will have access to credit. Credibility equals credit. I don't know if you realize that this investor has sack of money, but he also has a bat, a baseball bat on the other hand. And the bat is because everybody, when you're pitching to them, they are trying to find the reason why you are wrong. So experimenting is showing yourself what might be wrong and making sure that wherever you're pitching, whatever you're proposing is not wrong. Because again, people want you to succeed, but they have a bat, and they're going to be expecting any single thing on your pitch to be wrong to hit you strong with a bat in your knees. So that is what we're going to try to prevent from happening, okay? And ideally, we'll be able to land your visions into or to reality. So I presented here a staircase, but that staircase, of course, can be decomposed in completely different kinds of steps. Sometimes we have a hypothesis related to the problem. Does the problem really exist? Or sometimes it's hypothesis related to the desirability, to the customer, or to your very solution, or to the technology, or to the market, or to the business model. So there are many different steps that you'll need to take in order to validate or to land your initiatives. And the problem is that there is no clarity on what is the right sequence. I mean, see, it would be much easier if we could say you really need to start with a client or you really need to start with a customer, but that is not always the case. That is not necessarily the case. Sometimes it is all about desirability, and that is related to the customer, but some other times it's about viability, and that's related to the market and to the business model. And some of the times it's about feasibility. Is this what I'm proposing feasible in terms of partnerships, in terms of technologies, or is it an oxymoron what I'm proposing? So it'll be up to you to understand what is the most critical part of the sequence that you need to focus on first, right? These, if you've identified, is a representation of the business model canvas. It's a very basic tool that helps us align conversations and describe visions in a simplified way, so anybody, just by looking at your business model canvas, can understand what are your critical decisions. So it's, in a way, a map that simplifies the overlook of your initiative. So there is many different components in this map, and you will need to decide which one is critical, right? And we'll talk about that later during the process. Do they want it? Can we deliver it? Should we do it? But of course, we don't know exactly which one is going to be the fundamental hypothesis to be testing first. See, in this initiative, I figured that the plausibility of creating this artificially done natural rainbow would be the most complicated part. But it wasn't. It was, for validation, the government in the Basque Country was asking me to make sure to prove them that the impact that these installations would have on traffic would be very low. And that was the fundamental, the jugular hypothesis that I need to concentrate on. In this other initiative that I work on with a company called Hetic, they're trying to create this uplifting trolley for the washing machine. And they took for granted that there will be customer desirability. The main problem was all about feasibility. Can we do such an artifact that will make this process of swinging these platforms seamless? So they focus on the technical feasibility. See, that is a problem. We don't know exactly what you need to focus on. probably there'll be several Yugular things that you need to focus. Yugular like fundamental things, really critical things, and it's going to be up to you. What are you going to dedicate your time to first, okay? But before we do that, and that is going to be a very good part of what we do, but before we do that, I'm going to ask you first a question, because validating a vision is great, but first I want to know, what is your woe? What is your woe? What is so amazing about your initiative that really deserves your attention or our attention during the next 3 years? Do you have a woe?